Just want to introduce everyone before I get started. So hand over then.
Hi, Wei.
And then like we have here on the front of the TV Zhuzhou, not hi. And then Ba. No. And then yeah, Ting Hao, and then Hannah. Hi Hannah. Okay.
And then there's me behind the camera.
Okay. So I want to start off by picturing this scene 400 years ago. 400 years in the future. What do you think people will remember about this scene right here? We won't be here. Our memories won't be here. But what will be here is this plastic bottle. And that's why I want to talk today about plastic pollution in the environment. Pollution is the biggest problem facing society as a whole today, and plastics pollution is the largest part of that. One of the biggest problems about plastics pollution is the sheer amount of plastic that we produce. We produce plastics in the food industry, in clothing, in electronics. In almost any aspect of our lives, plastic is involved with it. This is essential. Plastics are important in our lives, but we are overproducing it, and we are having a problem with how much we're overproducing it. In fact, a study done by the World Bank back in 2016 showed that the United States itself, only itself, produces 42 metric tons of plastic each year. And the next largest country afterwards is the EU, producing 29 metric tons. Of course, you're probably wondering yourself, what's the big deal? We produce a lot of garbage. Well, there is a problem that's unique with plastic in general. And that the problem with plastic is that because of its unique chemical components, it's very enduring and it's very difficult to degrade. In fact, plastic tends to last hundreds of years. And this results in a plastic buildup. Ever since plastic was invented back in the early 20th century, and since its introduction into American society in 1950s, plastic has continually built up over our lifetimes, to the point that, in fact, a study done in 2015 showed that there's 3,600 metric tons of plastic that we've produced since that time. And unfortunately, a lot of it's still present to this day. In fact, on land, in landfills by themselves, we still contain 80% of that 6,300 metric tons of plastic. And if you go to the sea, it's not much better. Studies have shown that if you were to examine the sea in square kilometers, each square kilometer would have approximately 46,000 pieces of plastic in it, which is a huge amount. And it might not be a big deal because this plastic is far away, but plastic can lead to adverse health effects in human beings. And it can be toxic in certain scenarios. For instance, one form of a chemical component in plastic is phthalates. And phthalates can lead to testicular cancer. So this is definitely something that we need to account for and address. Fortunately, there are solutions that we are currently taking advantage of. One such solution, of course, is plastics recycling. And we see this in scales both small and large. In small scales, we can see this in the form of plastic recycling bins or individual recycling collection centers that offer people and individuals to recycle their plastics. In larger industrial scales, we see industries trying to take advantage of all this plastic that's available. For instance, in the automobile industry, 12% of all end-of-life vehicles are recycled back into the industry in regards to plastic parts. So this is definitely a good step forward. Another solution that we're looking at in combating plastic pollution is curbing the use of plastics. And we see this in industries and with individuals and just generally less plastic being used. This is also prominent in what is I consider the poster child of plastic pollution, which is plastic bags. For instance, I used to live in Medford, Massachusetts, and the place I lived actually had legislation taxing plastic usage of plastic bags. So this encourages people to use paper bags, which are more biodegradable, or use cloth bags to encourage recycling. Another small solution that we're looking at right now in terms of the scientific sense is biodegradable plastics. And these are plastics designed to rot normally, sort of like an apple or paper, basically. One example of this is keto sun, which is a plastic that is composed of exoskeletons of crustaceans and insects and cell walls of yeast and of fungi, and it's biodegradable. And this is promising, though it's not quite capable yet of taking part in a full industrial scale. Overall, though, we face a lot of challenges still in the quest to reduce plastic pollution, but with several ingenious scientific efforts and with the effort put forward both by individuals and by organizations, I'm confident we'll be able to tackle the problems of plastic pollution. Thank you.